My name is John. I found out that my wife had become a mentally ill person, obsessed with quick thrills. Over our 13 years together, she had countless affairs that I was unaware of, living with our children and not suspecting it. Before telling this story, I wanted to warn that I will be using fictitious names to avoid problems. So, it all started about 2 years ago, although at that time I was not yet aware of the full scale of the tragedy. My wife asked me to prepare her old phone to give to our oldest child. I took the smartphone and started looking through the photos, contacts, apps, the usual routine, and suddenly in the notes, I stumbled upon a saved email and password for some account. I don't know what made me check it then, probably intuition or a premonition of trouble. But I entered the data and found myself on a page that turned my whole life upside down. It was a fake page my wife had created on Craigslist, a page where she posted ads to meet men. And the worst part, judging by the dates, all this was happening when she was pregnant with our second child, in her 3rd month. I scrolled through her correspondence with these people, and with each message I felt worse and worse. There were so many of them, dozens, if not hundreds. They were all about the same, exchanging photos, often quite explicit, flirting, making arrangements to meet. Some of the photos my wife sent to these strangers I was seeing for the first time in my life. In our 13 years of marriage, she had never shared anything so personal and intimate with me. And here she was, handing them out left and right, as if they were trinkets. 3 months, you understand? For 3 damn months, while our child was growing inside her, she was leading this double life. By day, an exemplary wife and loving mother, and by night, I'll keep silent, a thrill seeker. I couldn't wrap my head around how she could be so hypocritical. Of course, I immediately tried to talk to her, showed her all these vile correspondences. You know what she said? That she doesn't remember anything. That hormones and stress from pregnancy were to blame for everything. Imagine, what a convenient excuse. Pregnant brain, damn it. I was ready to throw her out of the house right then, but I loved her too much. I so wanted to believe that it was just a short-term blurring, a mistake. After all, we had so many plans. We had just moved into a new house and were expecting an addition to the family. In general, I convinced myself to turn a blind eye to it all. Told myself that I needed to give her a second chance. That virtual infidelity, without live contact, that's not the end of the world yet. Moreover, it was so long ago, 7 years ago. I just found out about it all now. We even went to a family psychologist after that. True, only once. My wife flatly refused to continue. She said that I was making a mountain out of a molehill and that she didn't need any therapy. And I gave in again, although I saw that our marriage was falling apart at the seams. How stupid and blind I was. After all, infidelity, they're like cockroaches, right? If you saw one, you can be sure. There are hundreds more hiding nearby. But it took me 2 more years and a revelation from my wife's former friend to realize the full extent of her betrayal. It happened a month ago. I got a call from Jennifer, with whom my wife had once been thick as thieves. More precisely, not even a call, but a voice message. Long, confused, and full of remorse. I still remember her every word. "Hi, John. This is Jenny. I know we haven't spoken in ages, but there's something I need to tell you. I can't keep silent and cover for Sarah anymore. You need to know the truth. I'm so sorry I only now found the strength to confess. Sarah cheated on you. No, not once or twice. Constantly, John. For many years. And it's not just about correspondence, but about real affairs too. She had romances with various men, colleagues, acquaintances, even random people. I covered for her, made excuses to you, lied that we were shopping together when she was meeting another lover, made up alibis when she didn't come home at night. I'm so ashamed, John. Really. I thought I had to keep my friends' secrets, but I can't do this anymore. You deserve to know the truth. You're a good man and a loving husband. You don't deserve to be treated like this. Forgive me for staying silent. I hope someday you can forgive me. If you want to know the details, I'm ready to tell you everything I know." I listened to this message over and over, unable to believe my ears. Something clenched and burned in my chest, and only one thought pounded in my head. How? How could she? How could I have been such an idiot? I felt like the ultimate fool. A man who had been led by the nose and walked all over for years. I imagined how all those guys snickered behind my back, knowing it was my wife, while I was the faithful knight in shining armor. I called Jennifer, and she confirmed. It's all true. She started naming names, dates, places. With her every word, I felt sicker and sicker. But I had to know, you understand? I had to collect all the pieces of this damn puzzle that my wife had trampled. The first affair happened back in 2019. Some guy from a store she met while buying baby clothes. She saw him for several months, covering it with either friends or work. She told him I was indifferent to her and found comfort in his arms. He didn't seem to care that she was married until I caught them and threatened to beat him up. That's when he bailed, although they did end up sleeping together in the end. In Sarah's diary, yes, imagine, she kept a diary to which I found the key. All these adventures were described in detail. What they did, what they talked about, how she worried I would find out. A real 50 Shades of Grey, only starring my wife. Next was her colleague Nick. The fling with him lasted 6 months, if not more. They met during lunch breaks, stayed late at the office, went on business trips together, and there I was wondering why her salary was delayed so often. Apparently, they were paying for a different kind of overtime. And the icing on the cake, a 2-year romance with a guy from the Bumble app. Jenny personally introduced them, pretended matchmaking as a joke. And he took my wife to restaurants, drove her out of town for weekends, slept with her in our marital bed while I was on business trips earning money for the family. They even went camping with Jenny. Can you imagine? 2 lovers and a best friend covering up the infidelity. Straight out of a joke or soap opera plot. Only I don't feel like laughing. You know, after all these revelations, I felt like I'd been run over by a truck. Several times. It crushed all my dreams, hopes, notions about our marriage. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, kept replaying everything I'd learned in my head. But I had to face my wife face to face. I had to look her in the eye and ask, how? How could she do this to me? To our family, to our children? Were all these years, all our vows and promises just empty words to her? I waited for her to come home from work and met her at the doorstep. I said we needed to have a serious talk. I could see from her face, she understood right away what it was about. Her eyes darted, her hands trembled. But you know what she did? Started denying everything. At first she pretended she had no idea what I was talking about. Then when I started stating facts and names, she said it was all lies and slander. That Jenny was just a jealous friend who wanted to ruin our family. And those guys, well, maybe their imaginations ran wild. It happens, right? I was looking at the woman I once loved more than life and I didn't recognize her. How can she lie so shamelessly to my face? How can she have so little respect for me, our marriage, herself in the end? I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash this damn apartment to smithereens. But I restrained myself, silently went to the bedroom, got her diary out of the hiding place. Look, I said, here are all your escapades, written in your own hand. Will you also say this is a forgery? That someone broke into your computer and scribbled these memoirs? She wilted. Tears ran down her cheeks. Her shoulders shook. God forgive me, she sobbed. I didn't want to. It was all a mistake, a moment of weakness. I only love you. You have to believe me. Give me one more chance. I'll fix everything, I promise. I listened to this crying and realized, even yesterday I would have bought it. Believed. Felt sorry. Hugged her. Saying together we can handle anything. But not today. Today something broke in me irrevocably. The trust that I had cultivated for 13 years crumbled to dust in a second. You know what's funny? I asked in an empty voice. I suspected. Not in detail, but some sixth sense always told me something was wrong. All your work delays, weird calls, sudden outings with friends. I did ask you, but you lied to my face so convincingly. Smiled, hugged me, swore eternal love, and you yourself at that time? Don't, John. My wife interrupted me. I really repent. I was so stupid, so blind. Those men, they meant nothing to me. It was all not real, just a silly infatuation. You're the only one I love. I'll do anything to make you believe me again. I laughed bitterly. An infatuation? Seriously? 2 years? That's an infatuation to you? God, Sarah, how could you even? We have children, a mortgage, joint life plans. We've been through so much together, both good and bad. Wasn't that enough for you? Did I offend you somehow? Fell out of love? Pushed you away? What the hell did I do wrong? Nothing, John. You're the perfect husband, an amazing father, the best of the men I've had. It's not about you. It's about me. I just always lacked something, you know? Some fire, passion, craziness. I needed to feel desired, special. And our marriage, it became so routine, predictable. I felt like I was suffocating. Oh, so that's how it is. She lacked fire, you see, passion. And did you think about how we have 2 children who need a mother? About how I bend over backwards to provide for the family? That also didn't occur to you. You know, I want craziness sometimes too. I want to spit on everything and run off to Bali, or get dead drunk with friends like in my youth. But I hold back. Because there are obligations. There is responsibility. I don't throw them around, unlike you. John, please, let's not. I'm fully to blame, I admit it. Punish me, set any conditions. I'll accept everything. Do you want me to quit my job? To sit at home 24/7? To report my every step? I agree. Only don't leave, I beg you. Don't deprive me and the children of our family. I think at that moment I understood her like never before. I saw all the falsehood, pettiness, and cowardice behind this mask of an exemplary wife. She didn't love me, no, and she hardly ever truly loved me. I was just convenient for her. Stable, comfortable, familiar. I wasn't a man, a partner to her, but a guarantor of a prosperous life, a daddy and sponsor, nothing more. And my God, how suddenly I hated her for it. All my love, affection, tender feelings seemed to be blown away by the wind. In their place came pain, disappointment, and some squeamish bewilderment. Was this woman really sleeping next to me all these years? The one who wiggles her ass left and right just to assert herself? You know what, Sarah? I said quietly, feeling my voice tremble. You left me no choice. I'm leaving. Tomorrow I'm moving to a rented apartment and filing for divorce. We'll negotiate custody of the children through lawyers. I don't want to traumatize them with our showdowns, but I won't leave them to you alone either. Life has taught me, you can't be trusted. What? John, no, please, my wife howled. Let's discuss everything again. Don't make hasty decisions. We love each other. We'll manage. The children will be crushed if you leave. Or maybe the problem is in bed? Do you want me to be more uninhibited, to fulfill your every desire? Just don't leave me. I'm begging you. You're so pathetic, I said with bitterness. No shame, no conscience. Ready for anything just to keep the marriage, even to sell yourself like cheap goods. You know what? To hell with you. You can console yourself with the shoulders of your boy toys as much as you want. Sleep as a threesome, foursome, I don't care anymore. You're nothing to me now. A stranger who betrayed everything we had. With those words, I got up and left the room. I felt sick being near her, breathing the same air. I wanted to wash myself, change my skin, forget her touches, her smell, erase all our years from my memory, cross her out of my life once and for all. Of course, I understood it was impossible, that our paths would cross more than once, at least because of the children, photos, memories, mutual friends, all that wouldn't disappear with a wave of a magic wand. The pain of her betrayal would probably live in me as an unhealed wound for a long time. But I also knew I had made the only right decision, that if I stayed, this burden of infidelity, lies, and distrust would crush us both. We would simply rot alive, poisoning the existence of ourselves and our children. And my son and daughter need a father, whole, strong, not broken, who will be an example and support for them. And I firmly decided to become that. The next morning, I started taking action. First, I called work and took a few days off. Then I began looking for a rental apartment, not far from home, so I could see the children. I called all the realtors I knew, asked them to help with this issue as soon as possible. Then I contacted the lawyer we had worked with before on other matters, explained the situation, asked to prepare the divorce and property division papers, and of course, to represent my interests in court regarding child custody. News of our divorce spread instantly. Our parents, of course, were the first to find out. My mother at first didn't want to believe it, said we should try again. We've been together so many years. Couldn't understand how Sarah could do this. But when I told her everything, she just cried and hugged me, said she'd support any decision of mine. Sarah's parents were also in shock. They adored their son-in-law, were proud of their daughter's exemplary family life. And then such a blow. They called me, begged me not to cut rashly, to forgive and forget, said Sarah wasn't herself when she did all this, that she regrets it very much, as if regret can fix everything. It was also not easy with mutual friends. Some took my side, some took hers. Some tried to stay neutral, like every family has problems, who doesn't? It made me shake with anger. What do you mean, who doesn't? So you think cheating, lying, living a double life, that's normal? Routine, to hell with you and such morality. Especially difficult was the conversation with the children. How to explain to a 5-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter that mom and dad will no longer live together? That our family, our cozy world is crumbling, falling to pieces. I tried to choose the simplest and most honest words, but still saw pain and incomprehension in their eyes. Why, Dad? Did we misbehave? Do you not love us anymore? My heart was torn by these questions. I assured them that I love them very, very much, that Mom and I will still take care of them, just separately, that they are not to blame for anything and can always count on me. Hugged them tight, wiped away tears, and promised that we would manage. I don't know if they believed, but the worst happened later. Sarah didn't want to let the children go to me, threw a tantrum, shouted that I was destroying the child's psyche, turning them against her, that she knows better how to take care of them. She didn't want to give a divorce at all, clung to the marriage with her hands and feet, threatened to kill herself, swore she would kill any woman who dared to approach me. It got to the point where I had to call the police and get a restraining order, because her tantrums became simply dangerous for me and the children. She thrashed about like a mad woman, now sobbing, now cursing, now begging to come back, now threatening to burn all my things. Clearly not in her right mind. Fortunately, the judge sided with me, took into account all the circumstances, including her infidelity, and dissolved the marriage fairly quickly. Left the children to live with me, only allowed her to see them on weekends, and even then, only in public places and in my presence. A wise decision, given her unstable condition. I was grateful to the friends and family who supported me all this time. Without them, I definitely wouldn't have coped. I myself didn't expect how hard it would suddenly be to find myself in the status of a divorced single father. How many everyday, legal, psychological problems piled up at once. Sometimes I wanted to lie down and die, just not to see, not to hear, not to feel all this pain. But I had no right to give up. I couldn't afford to go limp, to drop my hands, because now my children needed me twice as much. I had to become for them both a father and a mother and a friend and a support, to show that life goes on despite everything, that any difficulties can be overcome if you are honest with yourself and others. Half a year has passed since my family life collapsed. 6 months of struggle, tears, courts, attempts to start all over again. I can't say that the pain is gone. No, it's still with me. But now at least I've learned to live with it. Accepted it as a part of myself, as the inevitable price for a mistake called my marriage. Sarah and I now hardly communicate at all, only through lawyers and only on issues related to the children. Yes, she was allowed to see them, but only during the day and only in my presence. I didn't want to deprive them of their mother, whatever she was. After all, they are not to blame for what happened between us adults. At first it was very hard, for me and for the children. They asked why Mommy lives separately, when she will come home, cried, threw tantrums, demanded to explain what they did wrong, why we are punishing them like this. My heart was torn when I tried to explain for the 100th time that they had absolutely nothing to do with it, that Mommy and I love them very much, just separately. Gradually, the children and I got used to the new routine, learned to live, laugh, and rejoice even without Sarah around. Daughter signed up for dance classes, son for a soccer club. They began to bring friends home, arrange sleepovers and parties. Life was slowly getting better, but there were, of course, difficult moments too. I remember once picking them up after another weekend with their mother. Sarah was late and we waited for her for a good hour. The children were nervous, daughter even cried. When she finally showed up, disheveled with a crazed look, I immediately realized that things were bad. It turned out she had pumped herself with some pills, either antidepressants or some other junk. She was talking incoherent nonsense, waving her arms, rushing to either hug the children or throw a fit. I barely took them away from her. They were in shock. Immediately called the police and social services. I was not going to let such things slide. In general, after this incident, Sarah was forbidden to see the children, at least until she completes a full course of treatment and proves that she no longer poses a danger to them. I know many in my place would gloat. Serves her right, the bitch. But I felt only pity and bitterness. After all, she used to be a different person. Loving, caring, sincere. Where did it all go? Did her own vices change her so much? As for me, I was also slowly coming to my senses. I started going to group therapy for men who have gone through divorce. At first I was ashamed, thought, what kind of widower, rag, milksop am I? But then I realized that this experience is invaluable, that I'm not the only one who was betrayed and trampled, and that sharing your pain is not shameful, but useful and right. I also tried to spend more time with the children. Together we cooked dinners, did homework, went to the park to feed the ducks. On weekends we went to the countryside, had barbecues, swam, played ball. These simple family joys were a great distraction from heavy thoughts. And once I met a woman. Her name was Emily, and she also had a difficult divorce behind her. We met by chance, in line at a cafe where I ran to buy buns for the kids. We got to talking, found a lot in common. Since then, we began to call each other sometimes, go for coffee. Nothing like that, just pleasant communication. But gradually I began to catch myself thinking about her, more and more often. That I look forward to our meetings, get nervous like a boy. That I don't even remember the last time I felt such lightness and joy. Even the children noticed it. They say, Dad, you've started smiling more often. Could it be you're in love? I don't know yet what will come of it. We're both on guard, both afraid to get burned a second time. But it seems to me that this could be the beginning of something bigger, brighter, something real, without lies, understatement, and cheating, because we have already received our lessons and learned them perfectly. In general, life goes on, friends. Yes, divorce is painful, scary, unfair. It's the collapse of everything you believed in, the betrayal of the person closest to you. But it's not the end of the world, not a life sentence or a stigma. I'm here to tell you, you'll cope, even if it seems now that the whole world is against you. That you've been trampled, crossed out, thrown in the trash. Believe me, it's not so. You are valuable. You are important. You are worthy of love and happiness, no matter what. You have children, family, friends, work, hobbies, favorite pursuits. Life is not limited to one person, even if you gave them your best years. Learn to value yourself again, to forgive, to let go of resentment. Trust me, it's worth it. I don't know if things will work out between me and Emily, whether the children will want to accept her as a new mom, whether we can create a real family, the one I've always dreamed of. But I know for sure that I will try, because my happiness is in my hands, and no one's betrayal can take it away from me. Thank you for listening to this story to the end. I hope my experience will help you, support you, give you strength. Divorce is not a sentence. It is the beginning of a new life. Complicated, confusing, full of uncertainty, but so real. Take heart, fight, love, and please be happy. In spite of all the troubles and grievances, you deserve it.